What is good, ladies and gentlemen? Big GucciSoldierCaptain back here once again. How's the wife? How's the kids? Great, perfect, amazing. Today we're going to be checking out YouTubers destroyed by their fame. Now, in this business that we're in, right, it really is hard. Pause. It's really hard to ruin your career and watch it come crashing down like a game of Jenga. But as you're about to watch in this video, somehow some of these individuals made that happen. I mean, really all you got to do is avoid committing crimes, avoid committing heinous acts. In some cases, just avoid interacting with children. But anyways, we're going to get back into this. Hopefully, this doesn't foreshadow my demise in about 4 or 5 years from now. Let's get into it.
YouTubers are just regular people, catapulted into fame and fortune by their fans who appreciate their personalities. Because of that, they're willing to watch ads, buy merchandise, run fandom accounts, and more in the name of their online personality of choice. Or worse yet, what if they're not fit, mentally or otherwise, to have that audience? Today, we'll explore the complicated relationship between creators and their fame. Though nowadays he's known almost exclusively as Joji,
this nigga,
Japanese-Australian
this nigga,
George Miller made waves with his music.
Filthy Frank. Oh my God, I have not seen that face, seen that name in so many years.
Beginning all the way back in 2011 with a simple and pretenseless upload titled "Filthy Shit." To say that Frank had one of the most successful and influential runs as a content creator is downplaying it. While
yeah, but he didn't like
on the internet,
he's still good though, isn't he?
Many people described what he was doing as bringing the kind of humor popular on the B board of 4chan to a YouTube audience.
Yeah, he was a wild one.
Were there in 2016,
as you can see, he was a wild one.
In many ways, he walked so that others could run. His earlier content consisted of a lot of yelling, embarrassing himself in public, raps, and every kind of inappropriate ism known to man.
Oh my God,
his later
bro.
Content was
a menace. Like the first, this nigga was the very first YouTube menace.
It might surprise some to discover that he originated the "Do the Harlem Shake" meme in 2013. Regardless of how bad taste or indecent his humor got, every upload consistently racked up millions of views. So much that TV Filthy Frank, the channel that George operated for the brunt of his prime years, now boasts a total of over 1 billion views.
1 billion views?
Content piled on in astounding numbers. A lot of unwanted
damn, you know who I have to suck off to get 1 billion views?
Felt necessary for there to be a debrief and explanation in the channel's About section, which read, "Filthy Frank is the embodiment of everything a person should not be. He is anti-PC, anti-social,
he put that in this.
What? Expressly to highlight the
there's no way that's actually in the description.
Legalism, injustice, ignorance, and other social blights. He also sets an example to show how easy it is in the social media for any zany material to gain traction/followings by simply sharing unsavory opinions and joking about topics many find offensive.
That is true. That is true.
Terribly offensive.
I mean, I've made a career doing that sometimes.
A deliberate and unapologetic parody of the whole social media machine and a reflection of the human microcosm that social media is. Or maybe I'm just fucking retarded. Despite this disclaimer seemingly softening the blow, the content itself remained pretty rough around the edges well into the late 2010s. Honestly, it's surprising it lasted as long as it did. Unlike many other instances where people dabble in offensive and sensitive topics and get banned for it, Frank left the platform of his own.
Yeah, he left. Now he's like some type of crazy pop star, isn't he?
The seeds for the disbandment of the Filthy Frank identity had been sown a long time before the prospect of a professional music career was on George's horizon. In 2014,
that's what it is. Professional
Frank
music career.
Video
yes,
to
sir.
His old account, Disaster Music, called "Filthy Frank Exposes Himself," where he appears as George, no character, and explains his reasons for why the content slowed down.
So I'm gonna be straight up with you guys. I have not been well the last couple months. Long story short, I was born with this, but I was recently diagnosed with a brain condition that ironically gives me seizures. You know, this whole time we thought it was so funny doing these fake seizures, and now some call it bad luck, some call it karma, but ironically, boss. Hey boss, I have a seizure.
Besides juggling the show with his college assignments and even jobs, he reveals he'd also been struggling with a neurological problem that caused him to have stress-induced seizures. When asked by his fans if he loved what he did, he said, "It doesn't really matter. That's how the world is, hun. It's just a big ball of poop, and you will find out sooner or later."
Yeah.
This despondent attitude about the content was a bit of a shock to the fans who cherished it.
Especially if you have a neck beard.
He was already laying the groundwork to bridge the Filthy Frank show and his interest in making music, mainly through Pink Guy's music projects.
That's disgusting. What the fuck is he doing? What the fuck is he? What the fuck is he doing?
It was only in 2018 that the cost of being Filthy Frank became too much to afford, given that the benefits were steadily declining and on their way to being non-existent. Along with a video officially declaring it to be over, George tweeted an explanation that read, I believe an official statement as to why I'm now done with comedy is owed to my former fan base, of which I'm extremely grateful for. And while it genuinely pains me to express this, I do hope that the reasons below may provide some insight into my decision. Unfortunately, I no longer enjoy producing that content. Several serious health concerns, including but not limited to throat tissue damage and neurological conditions that I prefer not to get into. This decision is final. I really can't express just how
what the fuck was he doing behind the scenes?
Nor will I ever forget the relationship that we had together. Moving forward, it is up to you whether you'd like to join or not. In any event, I will strive to continue creating and developing projects I'm passionate about and hope you'll succeed in doing the same.
Eventually, bro, you gotta just like, you know, when it's not working out, the best thing to do as the ship is sinking is to not sink with the ship. You know what I mean? That wasn't a submarine. That wasn't a joke because of the submarine thing that happened recently. I promise I didn't mean for it to come out like that, right? The smart thing to do is as the ship is sinking, you get as far away from it as possible. You know, you don't want to go down like the Titanic. I'm sorry. I keep doing this. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that. Okay? Shit. I remember the funniest thing about this whole Filthy Frank Joji situation is I remember when I went on Twitter and Twitter found out that Joji was Filthy Frank. Oh my God. The day that Twitter found out Joji was Filthy Frank, all hell broke loose. They were like, what? Oh my God, we gotta get rid of... Cancel him! Cancel him! It was the funniest shit. Oh my God, dude.
George managed to launch his music career into the stratosphere with ease. Partly this was because of how clean-cut his departure from the Filthy Frank brand was, but also because a substantial amount of Frank fans already wanted him to focus on the Joji projects, even if they came at the behest of the end of Frank. Since his shift into exclusively working on music, he's published 3 studio albums and accrued over 1 billion views on YouTube. A pretty impressive feat if I may say so myself. Some newcomers who were just stumbling into his music for the first time were shocked to find out what George was up to before
when they found out. This is where I told you when Twitter found out, bro. Oh my God.
Hashtag Joji is over party. Nobody cared about their takes as usual.
Wait till K-pop stans figure out this
campaign failed in such a humiliating fashion that it became a meme, which later discouraged people from trying at all. Ultimately, this worked out in George's favor. It's also worth noting that in recent months, YouTube themselves have begun removing some of his more offensive uploads, such as the Cake Trilogy, which are now only available through fan re-uploads on YouTube. While it has been widely speculated that George resents his fame as Filthy Frank or has tried to part ways with it entirely due to fear of being canceled, there have been multiple instances of him referencing his old persona in jest at concerts, usually promoted by an audience member in a pink guy costume, or when the crowd begins chanting Filthy Frank, to which he replies by saying they're people of culture.
I see y'all are people of culture. Let's go.
At least he still embraces this shit, man. That's good.
Mofo and Chad, anything for views, after transitioning into his music career as Joji, and it seems clear that, on some level, George has made peace with it and embraced the fact that, for many of his fans, he is and will always be Filthy Frank, and there's nothing embarrassing about that. Despite the internet's infamous penchant for anonymity, most content creators, even the ones that start anonymously, eventually cave into the pressure and sacrifice their privacy to either satisfy a demanding audience or attract one.
You remember when he did that?
Widespread success online is difficult if you aren't willing to allow the public to peer into your personal life and develop a parasocial relationship with you. This sweet spot was hit by Corpse Husband. With a massive following on YouTube and Twitter,
I remember this guy.
Horror story narrations
this is the guy whose voice like gets everybody's girlfriend wet, right?
Of his content aside, one of the most effective elements of his persona was the aura of mystery surrounding him due to his unwavering commitment to complete anonymity, deliberately shrouding his face and personal details.
I was setting up to do a little bit of gaming when I noticed I had an alert from one of my net friends saying they had stumbled across something interesting.
I swear to God, bro, I'm never leaving my girlfriend in a room with this guy and just watching him talk. It's never gonna happen, bro. Swear to God.
It was like tunneling, but more of that.
See how deep that shit sounds? Pause. You see how deep his shit sounds?
Corpse Husband dangled the enigma of who he was and how he looked in front of the viewer's face. While his unique voice and the stories he told were more than sufficient to captivate the watchers, Corpse Husband himself became the focus of attention over time. In 2016, he was featured in a Living Tombstone song called Grim Grinning Ghost, which currently sits at almost 5 million views. In 2020, he dropped the hit single White Tea, which has over 26 million views. While this is already extremely
my
impressive at
God.
face value for someone in such an unorthodox starting position.
55 million views?
Corpse went on to surpass it a few months later when he dropped "E-Girls Are Ruining My Life."
Who
which
the
more than
fuck
doubled
did
the
this
number of
nigga
views of
suck
his first
off?
single.
Oh
With
my
over
God.
50
Before I start the video, I just wanted to give a quick thank you to Felix, aka
Bro.
PewDiePie. The recent growth
Bro.
on my channel and in general and everything else was initially caused by him being kind and welcoming enough to allow me on his channel, which I'm incredibly grateful for. He's done things to help me that he definitely...
Bro, there's no way he actually talks like that, dog. There's no way he actually talks like that,
Some
bro.
people
What
thought he
type of
was faking it or
crazy
using
ass
a voice
puberty?
changer. Others
What kind of
speculated that his
crazy
face
ass
didn't match
puberty
his
this nigga go
voice.
through?
Honestly, there were a lot of e-girls who idealized him as some handsome anime stud, and consequently, a lot of dudes who were rooting for the day their fanfic fantasies got crushed, and Corpse was revealed to be an extremely unattractive dude. If having one stalker is already bad news, imagine being gang stalked by however many thousands of people were scouring through his online presence to find
Gang
one
stalk.
moment where he slipped up and revealed something about himself. As far as stalking goes, he'd already dealt with a serious incident in real life. Back in 2016, someone knocked on his house's door and claimed to be from a gas company. His mom was the one who opened the door, and since she had no reason to doubt this person's claims, she let them in. Only later, when they called the gas company, they discovered they had no involvement in that visit. In the following days,
that's
there were multiple
crazy.
occasions where cars parked outside the house that sped off when someone left the house to check, and even one instance of someone trying to kick in the door. Mind you, this was years before the astronomical degrees of online fame he would accumulate, so imagine how much worse it could be in present day. As his audience grew, having an online presence became a lot more costly and stressful, and impossible to engage with in a healthy way. Sure, he was...
Bro, this is just a news flash to anybody watching this. If you come to my house, I don't care a fuck who you are. If you come to my house, the police is not getting called. Law enforcement is not getting called. The only thing that's getting called is this fucking Draco to your goddamn head. You hear me? Guys, that was a joke. I'm just playing. But don't come to my house, please.
was looking for it in a way, but he couldn't have known that's how it would pan out. But that was far from Corpse's only struggle. Corpse was already battling multiple physical ailments, namely fibromyalgia, a condition that causes a plethora of issues such as generalized pains, sleep issues, and fatigue. Esophageal reflux disease, meaning stomach acid kept flowing back into his esophagus and constantly irritating it, which caused his voice to be as deep as it was.
Years ago, I thought it was fine.
Oh, that's what it was?
Weren't believing me because I was 19, in shape, seemingly okay. But then the problem started getting worse, and it started with my eyesight. I wasn't able to read stories because my eyesight was going. Whenever I would get checked for a prescription, they would tell me I have 20/20, but then I wouldn't be able to see when I'm reading.
In February 2021, Corpse revealed that the stress from doing the Among Us streams took such a toll on his mental health that he cut his face with a razor blade 10 minutes before starting a stream to deal with his anxiety because of his insecurity about his appearance. When asked about a potential face reveal, he said, "Realistically, it will happen, inevitably against my will. But a lot of people think it's a business thing or a gimmick. I just deeply fucking hate my face, and people's expectations at this point are ridiculous and unachievable." Naturally, this was cause for concern for the fans who genuinely cared about his well-being and went out of their way to show him some support. For the better part of a year, his uploading was very infrequent on both channels, which worked towards achieving his goal of taking a step away from the limelight. To this day, very little is known about Corpse besides what he decides to share with his audience voluntarily.
What does he actually look like? This intrigues me now to know what he actually looks like. I'm sorry for pausing it. Let's do a little bit of research. Yeah, I can see why people were like, yeah, that's not what I was expecting. Because it definitely wasn't what I was expecting. Holy shit. He looks like Madara from Naruto. Holy shit, this is him? This is what he looks like?
Sky Does Minecraft, also known as Adam Dahlberg, was
Sky
one of the
Does
original
Minecraft. Oh my
Let's
god.
Players from the early 2010s.
Oh my god, the nostalgia's flowing.
Energetic his gameplays were.
I was never a Minecraft fan, but my little brother, holy shit, he could not stop watching this motherfucker, bro. I can't, I don't understand why.
Most subscribed Minecraft channel with over 12 million, behind only PewDiePie. His Butter series, where he notoriously referred to gold as butter in the game, spawned a catchphrase that became synonymous with his brand and fan base. The audience took the butter thing, along with his hatred for squids in Minecraft, and turned it into a dogma they proselytized everywhere they went. Mainly, this meant Minecraft servers getting griefed and masked by players leaving behind signs that declared war on squids or labeled gold as butter, as well as spamming every chat until they got banned or muted. At this point, being a famous online gamer was still in its early stages as a concept, but he successfully branched out into other endeavors such as music, even if it was still centered around Minecraft.
Everybody does
89
music.
million views is nothing to sneeze at.
Holy
especially considering
shit!
how much of a cultural staple staple of nostalgia these kinds of songs eventually became to those who grew up watching the YouTubers from this era. Right around the same time as online popularity was peaking, his personal life was also reaching its zenith, as in 2015, he married his girlfriend Alessa, with whom he had a child, Mason. Initially, this marked a change for the better in his life, as they decided to no longer curse on the videos so that kids, including their son, could watch them. It was an endearing arc, from being a silly gamer to a family man, and the fans appreciated the parts of their life he chose to share with them. However, this period of grace didn't last very long. Within the next 2 years, Sky's following went from delighted in how wholesome his story was to closely watching Sky and Alessa's relationship fall apart, supposedly after multiple instances of her cheating on him.
Oh my god, bro.
Guy does Minecraft, a YouTuber.
Oh my god, man. See, you can't turn a hoe into a housewife.
On Twitter last
You
night.
cannot turn a hoe into a housewife,
I've
man.
been cheating on him. It all
That's
started with Sky posting one of the
crazy.
tweets which said, "I wish I never met you, and I wish everyone knew what a horrible person you are behind your mask. You fucking enjoy wearing so much."
Oh
We followed
my
this up
God,
with,
bro.
in before the, oh my god.
Wait,
don't
so
make
she
it
didn't just
public.
cheat one
Make it
time, she
public.
cheated
You
multiple
started fucking
times?
around with so many of my fucking public YouTube friends.
Oh
God,
my
like, seriously, how
god!
fucking many people was enough, woman? You'd think being able to count it on one hand would be enough.
Going through
Holy
a breakup is bad. Going through
shit!
a divorce that involves a child.
She
is
got
infinitely
ran
worse.
through by the
But doing
whole
it all in
Minecraft
front of an audience
squad!
of possibly
She
millions
got
of
ran through by
bystanders
this
is the kind of thing
crafting
you'll
squad!
only find on
Holy
TV. Sky was given
shit!
custody of Mason, solidifying his position.
They
that
all
Alessa was the
shoved
one
their
who
diamond
belonged.
swords in
Now,
her!
Sky was not the squeaky clean good guy he was widely thought to be when this was happening.
Ah,
In 2017,
what did he do?
Sky quit gaming to focus on his music career, and as has been deduced by the people who were paying close attention to his online presence, entered into a relationship with a girl called Elizabeth. This, along with many of Sky's dark secrets he hid from his fanbase, was hinted at in KSI's diss track to him, Adam's Apple. I can't stress enough how much of a late 2010s internet moment this was. Sky's serious abuse allegations, which would eventually undo the rest of his career as an entertainer, were first mentioned in a KSI diss from 2017. Worst of all, people sided with Sky at the time because the information KSI was referencing was coming from Alessa, who everyone thought to be an untrustworthy cheater, slandering Sky to get Mason's custody back. And on top of that, I mean, it was a diss track after all. It was only at the beginning of 2022 that more was disclosed when Elizabeth came forward and backed Alessa up. In the document shared by Elizabeth, she said, "You are a sick man. I spent months and months loving you with my whole entire being. I spent thousands of dollars just to come live with you. You made promises you didn't want to keep, but promises you made to manipulate my life so you could be in control. You use your fame, your name, and your platform to hide the disgusting and disgraceful things that you so claim not to do. You not only verbally abused and degraded me, the mother of your second child, you traumatized me and put me through things no one should ever have to experience. You hurt me for too long, and I'm tired of feeling afraid of you and what speaking up may bring. I had to tell people you weren't abusive, because whenever I said you were, you would harass me and say horrible, horrible things. You were so unkind. I do not wish for anybody to have mental health struggles, nor do I wish for somebody, even you, to have such severe struggles. I wanted nothing."
Burn this nigga. Burn this nigga. What the fuck? As soon as I hear the abuse word, bro, it's just something about me that just turns to fire, you know, just turns to fire. Let the fire solve my problems, you know what I'm saying? Like, we take him, put him on a big stick and just roast him over a barbecue. Like, you feel me? Like, I don't like that. I don't like hearing the whole abuse word. That shit is wrong. Or we could just avoid the fire entirely and just take this shit to the medieval times. We take each one of his limbs, attach him to a rope, tie that rope to a horse, get 4 horses, tie them all to 4 to his limbs, and then just like make them run in opposite directions. I mean, that one is a lot more gruesome, but I saw it one time in a Mortal Kombat fatality, so I think it might work.
But to love you and help you heal. You informed me you were only bipolar and possibly on the spectrum, which was never a problem for me. That was not the case. What you hid from me is the dangerous man you were capable of being, the person you are overall. 95% of our relationship, you hid me. You refused to want people to know my name or know about me at all. You avoided it at all costs, saying it was to protect the relationship. You refused to even let me talk about the baby publicly, as if it was irrelevant and you didn't care. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. According to Elizabeth, he consistently pressured her into pregnancy, despite her saying she wasn't ready for a baby. However, when she did get pregnant, Sky seemed unfazed and did next to nothing to help out. Additionally, cheating accusations he levied at Alessa started
Come
looking
on
like
now,
projection,
man.
since
What the
Elizabeth
fuck?
described him as being very shifty with his online messaging, using multiple different apps and deleting and hiding messages to prevent her from seeing what he was doing on his phone all the time. Another red flag about his infidelity was that he repeatedly tried to convince Elizabeth to open their relationship into polyamory.
He wanted more
Never asked the
bitches?
ages of the girls he engaged in conversation conversation with and even sent nudes to. Honestly, there's no downplaying.
Hell nah. Oh, he's a playground sniper too?
Death threats to and physically hurting Elizabeth by elbowing her in the stomach and stealing money from companies to buy drugs.
Bro, he's committing all the 7 deadly sins.
Randomly spamming and harassing people online late at night during one of his psychotic drug binges and purposely clogging the toilet so that Elizabeth would have to go to a nearby gas station in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom.
That's
okay, now that
up.
one is just freaking epic.
Yeah,
Eventually, the police became involved and helped Elizabeth out of her unfortunate situation, but not before she began to self-harm as a consequence of Sky's abuse. A lot of this, if not all of it, was happening while Elizabeth was pregnant, aggravating it to another level. After Elizabeth came out with her story, many other people felt emboldened to do the same and revealed their experiences working for Sky, all gruesome in their own way.
And then they all come out like,
not just
like mosquitoes in the
outright
night.
penchant for destroying himself and everyone around him in the most
But he
vicious way
deserves it.
possible.
He
never
definitely
addressed
deserves it.
any
I
of
mean, look
these
at this guy.
claims besides the odd
Goddamn.
tweet
Nigga
where he
looks like
suggested
something
he
out of
would do
Narnia,
something to
too.
hurt himself to get people's sympathy. His fan base, which used to be exceptionally loyal, became desolate at the thought of the person he turned out to be. Whoever Sky was before he was a rich web celebrity was long gone, and his original fan base has no interest in holding out for his return.
And they shouldn't.
Spoony,
And they shouldn't.
an internet personality renowned for his video game reviews, let's plays, and comedic commentary. During his run as an active content creator, he fell into the same category.
This guy
as
looks like a
Gone Trump,
frog.
angry video game nerd, and nostalgia critic. It's understated how effective this format used to be, but media criticism interspersed with in-character skits during the late 2000s and early 2010s is what Twitch streamers reacting to videos and not saying anything is to modern day. But even from the beginning, there were signs that Spoony was unfit for the degree of attention he was attracting. In 2010, he faced his first bout of criticism for his behavior at gaming conventions, namely E3. During a panel with Angry Joe, he started going off on a game called The Bureau, XCOM Declassified, for being too great a departure from the series' original format, yelling out betrayal repeatedly as he ranted. Given this was a very mild offense, but people picked up on his lack of self-awareness and how childish he tended to sound, almost as if he thought he was in character in one of his video sketches. This was just one of many instances where his contemporaries frowned upon his attitude, ultimately leading him to become a persona non grata in gaming convention circles. On the 11th of May 2012, Spoony tweeted the following at a fellow member of Channel Awesome. You know, if things don't work out with you and at Nash076, I'd be happy to chain you to a pipe in my base.
What the fuck?
And tears. As you can probably imagine, it didn't take very
There's
long for this
no
tweet to
way
get
he
hot
tweeted
water.
that
So he did
shit.
eventually apologized profusely for the tweet.
Excuse me?
This was noticed and considered a major liability for other people who were associating with him professionally. An example.
Oh,
is when another
hell
Channel
nah,
Awesome,
bro.
Lord Cat claims to have lost an interview with Minecraft creator Notch because of Channel Awesome's depreciated reputation as a result of Noah's online behavior.
The whole
Holy
gaming
shit, bro,
industry
what?
turned its back on me. Not you, not Joe, not Blistered Thumbs, me. I went to GDC the following year, Spoony, and I had a chance to interview Notch, Mojang, specifications, Minecraft. He was hot then. That
Who
was
the
gonna be
fuck is
huge for the
Notch?
street games. That was gonna be huge for the street.
He's the guy that made Minecraft?
And you know what happened? The representative at Mojang caught wind that we were going to interview Notch. And he stepped in. And he said, oh, I've heard of you. You're with that guy with the glasses. You're with Blistered Thumbs. I tried to tell them, no, I'm not. But he said my name was associated with them. And he heard what you did. Making a fucking jackass of yourself at E3. You fucking moron.
As a punitive measure, he was first suspended from posting to Channel Awesome for a month,
You
and
fucking
later
moron.
let go of the network altogether.
Yo, I
Instead of
can't-
taking
I
this
can't
as a
take his
note to
shit
be
talk
more careful
seriously.
about what he said and did, he took the opportunity to completely shit on Channel Awesome, saying their site was poorly designed, and he left because he didn't need them anymore and could do better on his own.
I guess the first thing I would talk about is there's kind of
What a
a
douchebag.
financial aspect to this, and in many ways I just didn't need. It was a really one-sided relationship.
Like,
but
he looks like a
also, on
guy
another
from,
respect,
like,
their
Star Wars
website
Jedis, but, like,
is
he didn't
so
make the cut,
poorly
you know what I'm saying?
designed. It really is atrocious. My videos are so buried beneath a nest of, you know, layered, rooted menus that if you wanted to find my stuff, I think I'm under, like, Blistered Thumbs, Side Critics, and, like, I'm so far buried you can't see what I'm doing, and I'm one of the more popular guys on that side, or I was.
Even if this were true to any extent, that's obviously not
How
you
far
handle
back
the
was
situation,
this?
and what
How
is
far back
essentially
was
the
this shit?
closest thing you have to an actual career. In the same breath that he epically owned Channel Awesome, he admitted to not actually being sorry for the tweet that got him in trouble in the first place. This marked him as permanently unpredictable and prone to making bad decisions without considering the consequences. Quickly, this was associated with Spoony's status in real life. He was an unemployed guy in his late 20s who admitted to having multiple psychological problems. Another sign that he wasn't dealing well with being an online entertainer was the frequency with which he engaged with negative feedback, as well as how he engaged with it, often banning people from his website if they dared to say something mean about his videos. Sure, it's his right to moderate his website however he wants, but a surefire way to tell someone is a narcissist is if they obsessively keep track of every single thing people say about them and try to silence criticism. Of course, the more he complained and interacted with the people saying abjectly negative things about him, the more people would do that just to spite him since they knew it would always get a reaction. Such is the nature of the internet after all. But you can't expect a guy who held a contest in which the prize was an autographed picture of himself to be capable of dealing with trolls in a moderately mature fashion. You see, Spoony wasn't content in being a content creator. He idealized himself as an actor and comedian, which eventually culminated in the solidification of the infamous Spoony movie. Despite the bad rep he had accrued in his already sparse upload schedule, screeching to a
Spoony movie
from Channel Awesome, he was still a known entity in gaming circles and held in some regard by other content creators. Despite his tunnel vision on the hate he got, many people still really liked him and his content. Proof of which is that within 6 months of opening his Patreon page, he had over 500 supporters and was making almost $5,000 a month. He was being paid that much to produce $0 videos of him yapping about any media he wanted. Let it sink in just how much of a blessed position that really is.
That's good, actually. That's not bad.
Patreon reached his highest goal, $5,000, which would kick off the production of the Spoony movie. At least that's what the rewards on the Patreon said. When he announced
Spoony movie
film, it was clear that he had no idea what he was getting into.
Hey guys, bunch of big news lately. I haven't had a chance to report on it till now because I was out of state. But I guess the big news is somehow you guys have reached the Patreon goal where it was listed that I would start work on a movie. I was blown away by this. You guys are the best fans in the world. Oh my god.
Nah, that ain't it, dog.
Oh my god.
That's scary, bro. This guy looks like he's got.
What I wanted to talk to you about was the plan.
Something about this nigga is off. I don't like it, man.
Status of things. The plan is.
It's like one wrong move, and the next thing you know, his next trip is at an elementary school. I don't like that.
Not because they wanted a movie. The decision to make a movie was much more about Spoony's fantasy about being an actor than responding to any popular demand.
Yeah, that
Another
makes
common
sense.
criticism levied at Spoony was that, despite him making more money than he'd ever made before, the quality of the content was steadily decreasing. But these criticisms were often silenced as Spoony disabled the comments and ratings on any video they showed up.
Oh my god,
This
what a
behavior,
neek.
straight up non-existent upload schedule,
What a
sapped
neek.
the momentum he had built up on his Patreon, and within a year, he was getting $2,500, only half of what he was making before. He became increasingly inactive on all fronts, except Twitter, which he frequently updated with his usual ranting and raving. His hyperactivity on the platform reached critical mass with the election cycle, after which he spent 6 months without uploading any content, while his Patreon plummeted to just $600. In July, he made a series of tweets saying, "Having a panic
That's
attack.
like a nice
I have so
lunch
many things to
nowadays,
do,
$600.
so many number one priorities. All I can think to do is hide in bed. Every time I do, I'm afraid that for some reason this time I just won't wake up. I just can't face the goddamn camera for some reason. I've been down here for months trying to get my head straight, and I can't. Financially, this became an emergency 6 months ago, so I haven't been lacking for motivation. No idea what I'm going to do. I haven't given up. I never gave up, but I haven't gotten anywhere either." Replying to someone, he claimed that he was out of money and was going to lose his house. While this cannot be verified, it would make sense considering he showed no signs of being employed in any other way besides his Patreon, which he continued to update for the rest of 2017. It's not even necessary to say that the movie never materialized, despite being used as an excuse.
So wait, he scammed them because he never made the movie, so he scammed everybody?
Still supporting him at this point. Spoony was now in his late 30s, and his mental issues were getting the best of him. He was suspended from Twitter for suggesting he would kill himself and take others with him.
Oh my god. What did I tell? Didn't I say? Didn't I say take others with you?
Recently, his dog Oreo passed away. Though since 2022 there have been things that suggest Noah might eventually make a comeback and do reviews, his story stands out as one of the most tragic meltdowns of a content creator. During the mid-2010s, when edgy content wasn't only surviving, but thriving on every online platform, Ian Washburn, or Idubbbz, emerged as a prominent figure.
Idubbbz, that's his name. Oh my god. I was like, why does he look familiar? Idubbbz, that's his name.
After years of diligently putting in work, doing episodes on his series Kickstarter
Fucking
crap,
Idubbbz.
wherein
This is
he
a guy that
reviewed
like
poorly put
ruins
together
people's
or outright
careers.
deceptive Kickstarter projects, Ian developed two things: a small but respectable fan base and a very articulate capacity for criticism. He turned his fan base into content by doing bad unboxing, which often ended in him being buried underneath sex toys and copies of Mein Kampf. With his critical sense, he made Content Cop, a series hailed for its unrelenting and brutal takedowns of other YouTube personalities that Idubbbz disapproved of. What stood out was his no-holds-barred attitude towards what he was willing to do in order to effectively prove a point. From attending Tana Mojo's event only to tell her to say the gamer word when they were taking a selfie, to shaving only the front of his head to demonstrate he wasn't insecure about his hairline on the Leafy is Here content deputy. He seemed invincible, immune to the hang-ups that would make pretty much any other person crawl into a fetal position and cry. On a platform where drama videos abound into endless back and forth with no clear winner, it was a sight for sore eyes when a new Content Cop appeared in the recommended, since with those, you always knew you would get what you subscribed for.
I remember like several years ago when this guy would like make a video like exposing whoever the victim was that day, it was like there was no recovery. Like you had no recovery time to recover. Like you had no time to be like, oh, okay, like that's not like, no, once he made that video back then, it was done. It was over. He dressed up like a law enforcement officer and he took your ass to jail. That's pretty much what he did.
Appearances in other people's channels, most notably the notorious Cake trilogy from Filthy Frank. You really cannot understate how monumental these videos were during this era. It's a you had to be there kind of thing. But with peaks so high, how could he ever follow it up? That's the question Idubbbz had been trying to answer for years. While Kickstarter Crap and Content Cop were discontinued entirely, the Bad Unboxing series lingered on for a while, though it took on increasingly strange formats. Besides the odd episode of Idubbbz Complains and the videos where he saved squirrels on his second channel, it seemed like he was genuinely at a loss as to what direction he would go with his content. Consequently, the uploads were far apart.
Oh my god, his hairline, holy shit.
But in 2019, Ian struck gold once again with his documentary on Airsoft Fatty, Full Force. Though it did numbers, it didn't have the cultural impact his past works had. While most of the feedback was largely positive, an undercurrent of Idubbbz fans began wondering where the edge he had went. Why did these new uploads feel oddly lukewarm? Eventually, this weird vibe some of his fans were getting from the content was made manifest when Idubbbz's then girlfriend, Anissa, started an OnlyFans account. Many people felt that
is that an iPhone 4S?
He betrayed his critical character. Though he'd never given his opinion on that specific topic, people presumed he wouldn't be the kind of guy who was okay with his girlfriend exposing herself in that way. While Ian harped on how ridiculous it was that people felt a parasocial connection to him and even looked up to him, his demeanor felt distinctly different, like he was more emotionally aggravated about this topic than he'd ever been about almost anything he covered on his channel. The conclusion drawn from this debacle was that the rift between Ian and his fanbase was always there, and the conflict surrounding Anissa's OnlyFans just revealed it. Other people speculated that Anissa was affecting his opinions and softening his stance. Some even argued that Anissa's OnlyFans was a sign of her
girl is
issues with
shaking ass on the internet.
Ian's tolerance of it was effectively enabling her. Ultimately, the only certain thing you can say about this controversy is that it marked a major shift in people's view of Idubbbz. A lot of people felt very alienated and tied it to the noticeably milder content he'd been putting out. After all, when someone spends over half a decade being the most offensive person imaginable, it's a very radical change in pace when he starts making videos complaining about the amount of peanuts that come in peanut products. His content was still doing well, but it felt more like a regular YouTuber stuff as opposed to the headliner he once was. His personal views were once again the topic of discussion when at the end of 2020, he made a video lambasting anti-maskers. Regardless of what he thought on the matter, the fact that he would go out of his way to make
So let me get this straight, right? People are complaining about the fact that he decided to turn a new leaf and not be a disgusting, toxic mutant on the internet. People genuinely don't like that he's a genuine good person now. Insane, bro. That's why I can't bring children into this world. Now you see why I can't bring children into this world. It's fucking crazy.
The final target of the Content Cop series. More importantly, Ian uploaded another documentary video, this time on comedian Sam Hyde. The video made waves since for years, no one with a significant mainstream presence interacted with Sam after the cancellation of his Adult Swim show World Peace due to political controversies. It also made people question just how loyal Ian was to his more progressive sensibilities, since he was essentially
oh my god, why was he not on this
list?
list?
Donated thousands of dollars to the Daily Stormer, an openly anti-Semitic and far-right website. Strangely, it seems Ian himself believed Sam's more offensive or risque jokes weren't ironic at all. The reception to the documentary was mixed. For some who were fans of both Sam and Ian, seeing them interact at all was amazing. Others picked up on how oddly passive-aggressive Ian behaved at times. Devout Sam fans felt it was a hit piece designed to show that he had fallen off. It also came off as strange that he decided to make some of his criticisms towards Sam's style of humor in post, instead of bringing most of it up directly to him while he shot the documentary. Ultimately, doing the doc on Sam was Ian's worst mistake. Not only did it immediately capture the attention of all the people he wanted to push away, but Sam himself was catapulted back into the internet's mainstream. Finally, this culminated in Idubbbz posting a video called I Miss the Old Idubbbz, where he explicitly disavows his old videos and what he considers his own bigotry, and pledges to donate to progressive causes, such as the Trans Women of Color Collective.
This is the main issue with the internet. They don't allow you to change as a person. This is what I'm saying. Like, this guy has been on the internet for years. He's done a lot of questionable shit, okay? Even he'll say that himself. Over the years, as he's gotten older, he's changed. He's matured. The problem with the internet is they don't let that happen. They don't let you change. They don't let you mature. It doesn't make sense, bro. It doesn't make sense, man. It doesn't make sense. It's ridiculous, bro. This is the main thing that I hate about the internet. And then you're labeled as fake. Now you're labeled as fake because you don't want to, you know, do ridiculousness like, you know, jumping off a 2-story building or, you know, kicking a dog in the face or whatever ridiculousness, you know, going up to an old man and stealing his fruit punch. Like, I don't, like, you know, doesn't make sense.
I'm gonna have the balls to go to Tana's fan meetup and say slurs at her and then make a video about how it's okay to say slurs. I think I should have the balls to make an apology video and take accountability for the mistakes I've made. That's what this video is.
He's a good, like, he's a good man now. He changed.
And damaging content on this channel. And I've also created a culture of apathy and, I don't know, a lot of, like, cruelty as well.
Once again, people felt betrayed since in this video, he implies that the people he did content cops on didn't deserve it, or that it was in poor taste or too offensive, which was largely why people found him funny in the first place. Others felt that regardless of his change of heart and personal beliefs on what kind of humor crosses the line, the video was gratuitously self-flagellating for something that virtually no one held against him.
The way he talks about this content makes it sound like he used to fucking murder puppies for these videos. It was never that extreme. I very much would consider it edgy. It was 2016 edginess in all of its glory. And for its time, it lived peacefully. You know, all 4 nations, water, earth, fire, air, lived together in harmony.
Did this nigga just make an Avatar reference in the video?
It was a mistake that he made those videos. They're not hurtful, nor do I really think they're damaging.
There's been no significant criticism of content cops and their level of edginess since they came out, other than from Ian himself. There's no telling where Ian's struggle with the chasm between him and his audience will go next, but it shows how easily a creator can develop a fan base that consists of people they actually don't agree with or like. I've been Turkey Tom, thanks for watching, and until next time, leave me alone.
Well, I definitely will do that, Turkey Tom. My bad for disturbing you. Anyways, that was a good video. It's good to see, not good to see people like destroy their lives on the internet, but like good to see some of these people ended up having like successful endeavors, others falling from grace into like a weird abyss, you know. Anyways, with all that being said, make sure you guys like the video. If you guys have not liked the video yet, man, I see a lot of you guys are not liking the video, so make sure you guys like the video if you guys have not done so. Subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comment section who is like excluded from this list. I mean, I certainly think of a very round man, you know, that ends with 445 at the back of his name should have been. I don't know why he was excluded from this. You know, he definitely should have been on here. I was expecting to see that, but for whatever reason, I didn't see it. So let me know in the comment section who is missing from here. And like I said, like the video, subscribe to the channel. We're on to 20,000 subscribers, guys. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you guys are not subscribed to the channel, man. Let's get to 20K as fast as we possibly can. Appreciate you guys for coming through, showing the support, but you guys already know that, and I'm going to see y'all in the next video. Peace.
See just how I'm coming, yeah, I did this on my own. Don't you tell me something, cause I did it all alone. You ain't helping nothing, no, nah. You ain't helping nothing, no, nah. Came up from the guys and niggas show me some respect. Niggas mad cause I ain't break them off on all these checks. You ain't helping nothing, no, nah. You ain't helping nothing, no, nah.